We basically had a room with 32 flavors of weed, edibles, oils, anything you can think of in 2017. You're gonna send out this task force to lock everybody up, but then you're not letting all the licensees, people who are patiently waiting and going through the actual legal process, like help that situation out. Anybody who's locked up for just weed, whether you were growing, selling, transporting, just non-violent weed, brother, they gotta let you go.
And like throw some like reimbursement for that too. Like. Yo, what's good? It's 2 P's in a fucking pod. I'm Prez, aka Get Fit Poppy, formerly known as Cheap Allegations Poppy. And to my left, I'm with
Ramon Reyes from Happy Munkey.
From Happy Munkey, Ramon Reyes. So why y'all started the Happy Munkey brand? Like just the name, like the name is just different.
Right. So, I guess I would say 2017, like summer 2017. At the time I had like, we was taking a couple trips, and I came back from Amsterdam. And
we went to Amsterdam?
I went to Amsterdam. It was crazy. And I saw like the sort of like freedom that people was having out there, like in the cafes. Like, I don't know if you ever heard or been to Amsterdam. So they got these lounges, which is basically, weed bars. You go in there, you order your weed, you go smoke, you chill.
That is lit.
So that is lit. You know what I'm saying? I saw that, and I was inspired by that, and I came back, and I was like, yo, we got to throw parties. This is what we going to do. And we going to call this Happy Munkey. He was like, what the fuck? Why Happy Munkey? There's no real science to it, but like I said, it's like I was saying right before we started recording, monkeys was just always a part of me, right? Like it was just, I guess, my spirit animal.
You definitely smoked weed and watched National Geographic. Everyone does that. Everyone does that.
Something, man. But, I was on my Zen shit, and I wanted something like cool, because brands at the time, and I was seeing a lot of weed brands on social media, like coming out with like this like tough exterior, this tough situation. I was like, we're already in the street. We've been in the street for 20-something years. So it's like, I don't want that. I want something different.
That tough energy is
that
not
tough
necessary.
Energy is not
like,
necessary. It's weed.
It's weed. Like,
so that's how I started it, and that's how I created it. I created it with the Instagram, and then we started doing events afterwards. And the events were real. It was speakeasy still. You know what I mean? And at the time, the only weed events that was happening was like sessions, right? I don't know if you know what a session is, but it's like a party with a bunch of vendors in it selling weed. I've
been to something like that. Yeah.
Right. So that event to me was too much. Like it was like I felt like an old school house party. Shit might go down in any second. So to me, I was like, this is not what I want. And like I said, we've been outside. Me and my team been outside for a long time. So we know what it is to have some sort of like luxury party and be in the dope clubs and VIP. So I felt like this is kind of something that we kind of needed. We needed something that's just like Amsterdam vibes. You could go in, chill, and smoke, but you got the California dispensary in the back. You know what I mean? So we was kind of one of the first ones to do that. At least in that format here in New York City. We basically had a room with fucking 32 flavors of weed, edibles, oils, anything you can think of in 2017. Not now how everybody got it now. We talking 2017.
2017, it was harder. Now everyone has.
We had that back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's how we started the whole Happy Munkey situation, and it evolved from there.
So speaking of Amsterdam, so like, can you ever see New York City doing that with like weed bars, movie theaters, anything that comes to mind? Like
before, I would have said I don't know, but now I see these things happening, right? Because not only did me and my team, we fought for consumptions, you know what I mean, like for consumption licenses, so that's gonna come in New York. Like people go have consumption licenses where they can actually have a space for people to go and smoke at. It's like that's something that's gonna happen,
because now like everyone's like outside smoking, and I think New York is like, we need to find a way where we can like monetize that, where you can chill and smoke.
Exactly.
And not, this business owner like, yo, you on my property, I want you smoking on my property.
Right. Well, maybe let's bring it back a little bit. Maybe let's let people know what is legal, right, in New York City, because a lot of people just think that everything is legal.
They just think
they made we legal. Fuck it, let's just do whatever we want.
And I don't even is it even legal, or is it like just decriminalized?
So what it is it is legalized state-wise, not federally, right? So state-wise, it's legal in New York City. In New York State, you can smoke weed wherever they allow, or wherever the state allows you can smoke cigarettes at, right? So wherever somebody can smoke a cigarette, you can smoke your weed legally, right? You could consume weed. You could also have up to 3 ounces of weed outside, right? So if you walking around outside, you got 3 ounces in your book bag.
They can't say nothing.
They can't say nothing to you. They just gotta let you take it home. You can also have 5 pounds at home. You know what I'm saying? So
5 pounds at home is wild.
Right. So this is legal. This is what's legal now, right? You cannot gift, you cannot trade, you cannot sell weed. That's illegal in the state right now. You gotta have a license to sell if you want legal. If you want to go legal, you don't want to go. You know that's on you. You don't want to do that shit. You go ahead, do your thing. But if you want to go legal, you gotta get a license. And right now, there's only 2 legal dispensaries open in New York City that sell recreational. Anything else is either illegal or medical.
Or medical?
Yeah.
So the corner store right now will be illegal.
All the way.
So
Happening all over New York.
Oh, it's happening all over New York. It's a gray period for weed, right? Because there's no real I guess situation happening as far as like law enforcement. And again, since it's legal, there's no real like penalties for it yet, right? And to be honest, I wouldn't advocate to lock up anybody who's selling weed. That's like, I come from legacy. I come from the street. I would never.
From the dude on the corner.
All day. All day.
For a better price than the dude and
But-
especially stuff I see.
For sure. Well, it all depends, right? So if you go into the smoke shop, that shit is a roll in the dice, right? Because the smoke shop dude never sold weed in his life. He might have sold baggies. He might have sold scales. He might have sold everything else, but he never sold weed. So now you taking the risk. At the end of the day, I might as well go back to the dude that I've been copping weed for the last 20 years. Like, at least I know what he's doing.
I'm gonna go back to Dykeman.
Right.
Go back to Dykeman.
Go back because I know what they doing, right? But the smoke shop guy, they just taking advantage of the moment right now. I'm not mad at that, but you don't know what he getting, right?
Yeah.
He just like whatever.
The trust isn't there.
Again,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Like, again, it is all good. I'm not hating on none of that. It's just they all new. It's a new thing. And hey, if they're getting away with it, get away with it. Do what you gotta do. But
So you said you got your license, right?
not yet.
Not yet. So how hard is it to get your license to sell in New York City?
So right now, what's happening is there's a program going on in New York City, right? This is something that hasn't happened in any other state. Not even California, no Oregon, no Chicago, no Massachusetts.
What about Colorado?
Colorado, all these states that I mentioned are legal, right? But the way they started wasn't the way we starting now, right? So right now, what happens is it's legal to grow weed, right? So you can, well, all of us right now, if you had a medical card, you could grow weed at your home.
Really?
You know, you could grow up to 6 plants, you could grow that. But what the state also did is they granted some conditional licenses to those that were already growing hemp. So now they can grow weed. So now we got a bunch of people upstate growing weed, right? Cool. But what they're doing different is that they're giving out retail licenses to those. This is the program that the state has, that they're giving out retail licenses to those who were most affected by the war on drugs. Motherfuckers like me and you, who's in the hood, copping weed, getting locked up, selling weed, all these things. You know, just going through all these things. So this is the first time of any other state has ever even mentioned it to even start that way, right? They wasn't even trying to let legacy operators in the industry in Cali and all these places. And for that, places like Cali, they losing. So for example, I don't know, somebody got their license, you got your license, you set up on the strip on LA somewhere, you grossing anywhere, let's say from $1 million to $2 million a year, right? But the dude on the corner, right, like half a block away from you, he grossing like 5. Because it's like he said,
They know him.
they know him.
They don't know
He
me.
got it cheaper.
Yeah.
He always had the fire. So, that's how that shit go.
So how can they bring the fire from the streets to the on the legal side? Like, how can they?
What I think is that they should be bringing legacy operators, people that been operating for 20, 30 years, 40 years. They've been in the underground. They know what they doing. They got their customer base. They know they got their plug. you know, they got all these things established already. Why not establish these people as well? You know what I'm saying?
But then to the flip side of that, why would like a dude that's been in the streets grinding?
Correct.
It's less penalties out there. Why would I want to do that if I've been making all this money without
Correct,
going through
right?
that?
So now these are the two flip sides that we have conversations about all the time. So the younger guy who's making money, he don't give two fucks about getting a license. He
Not at all.
Young, in his 20s. So there's the two flip sides to that is the age differences, right? So the guy that's anywhere from 16 to 26, maybe 30, and he making money. He's actually making money selling weed. He don't give a fuck about going legal.
Not at all.
Right? Because he hasn't really faced any like real situations. He's making money. He happy. It's, like I said, it's the weed game, right? It's a little bit different than coke, dope, and all this other shit.
Because the weed man is really like the hood ice cream man.
Right.
Like he's not...
So the young kid don't give a fuck. He chilling. He getting money. He haven't really been through too much, especially now shit is becoming legal, right? But now you got the older players that have been around for 20 years, that have been around for 30 years, have been around for 40 years. They've been through ups and downs, lefts and right, all sorts of shit. Niggas might have got deported. Niggas might have got bids, all sorts of shit.
I never thought of that, of the weed man getting deported.
Absolutely.
Like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. See, we face that. You know what I mean? These are things that we face being in the street. Older gentleman is like, damn, I've been through it all. What's the next step? The next step is only to go legit. There is no other next step. Unless you're trying to like go ahead and grow, you know, acres and acres of weed somewhere that's not New York, then again, like it's different. Like you get to a certain age that you're trying to leave something behind, and this is it. Like this is the way it, right? You're not gonna go and become an engineer. You're not gonna go to school and do some other shit. You're not gonna go work for McDonald's. Weed is it. If weed is your life, then this is the end goal. The end goal is to end up legit. The end goal is to end up saying, fuck it, I could pass this down. Because illegally, you ain't passing nothing down.
Facts.
If you're lucky enough to save your money, if you're lucky enough to invest it correctly, which is very rare, like ain't too many people get to do these things. If you get to do these things, you're lucky. But the reality is, at some point, bro, you gotta end up changing
what you trying to do.
Yeah.
So like with weed becoming like more commercialized, but like you see like the sports leagues, like they saying like, yo, you can smoke weed now. We won't suspend you no more. Can you see like an athlete being endorsed by like cannabis company?
Absolutely. First of all, you already see all the retired athletes getting endorsed, right? So you see like Gary Payton, you know, Sean Kemp.
Al Harrington got his own.
Al Harrington is the homie. That's the homie. I fucks with him heavy. He got the Viola brand, you know what I mean? And a lot of his partners are ex-athletes, right? It's hard for an athlete now to kind of come out and be like, yo, I smoking weed. But I think a lot of endorsements are gonna go down. Like it's already kind of happening with the retired players. Like, you know, you got in baseball, you got Big Papi. He's endorsing some sort of weed situation going on, right? Because he in Massachusetts and it's legit in Massachusetts. So athletes are coming along heavy.
Because you see like now, like with FanDuel, now like, all right, we can gamble. It's like, whoa, we can gamble and smoke. You might as well endorse an athlete. Like I can't see like a Patrick Mahomes being the face of like a weed brand. I don't think it will happen to like an NFL athlete, but like an NBA athlete, Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it will. So,
because like I think football is too like black. No. I think football is too like black and white, where like they was mad at Cam Newton dancing in the end zone, right?
I think it's about a fucking painkiller problem, right?
There you go.
They don't see it that way though.
Like football. All right, yeah. So football is the most strenuous sport. It's collision sport.
Football is
Football.
all the way collision sport. Yes.
But you can't
implement that. It's healthier for the athletes.
Right.
But then I'm just saying, yeah, they have to do that. But I don't see like the fans of like the teams embracing that. That's just me. I don't see it. Maybe. I don't see like a team in like North Carolina, the Bible Belt, where they just don't like weed.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, like they got mad at Kaepernick taking the knee. They ain't gonna see like be happy that like the NBA. They kind of more like liberal, more like.
But I'll disagree a little bit because we've had a lot of clients that came to our lounges that were active football players. So that's something that's gonna come from them, right? So maybe it's like you guys said, the organizations and the fans might have a little, but the actual players,
the athletes is
they
with
don't
it.
give a fuck. You know, Ricky Williams is outside. You know what I'm saying?
Ricky Williams got a whole gym where you can smoke after.
It's lit.
Because like the way the media tried to paint Ricky Williams that he was this dumb pothead, and he said he needed it to sleep. And he needed it for pain because they can give you mad Percocets, they can give you mad Vicodin, and you could be like addicted to it. And he's like, nah, I don't like pills. I'd rather smoke. Yeah. And that's why he kept getting suspended. So like, I could see an athlete saying like, yo, I don't want to fuck with the pills. Give me the weed.
All day. I think that would be a big look for the NFL because honestly, we know that the NFL. It's a harsh organization, bro. You got these, you got young children going into football, and by the time they get if they make it to the NFL, they banged up hard. And they got them taking all these other prescriptions. Like you living on these prescriptions.
Living on painkillers at 24, 25. Like, yo, you just started life.
Crazy. So, hopefully, they do start giving NFL players at least the option to medicate that way, right? Because again, the Bible Belt is not going to say, yay, weed. But
I just feel like
organizations should be giving the athletes that option.
Because I feel like it's crazy. Like I could be an NFL player and I could have like a Hennessy endorsement, right?
All day.
And I could have a weed endorsement. Like,
well, that's because it's federally illegal still, right? So
true,
a lot of these organizations won't jump on it yet. The reality is that, and people don't know, but we need all the states to agree before this becomes federally legal. You know how hard it is? When was the last time you seen the United States actually act united? You know what I mean? Like, when was the last time you seen everybody agree on something?
I don't think ever.
That shit is come on, B.
I think if you get a majority, but then they might just do some like lazy shit and be like, yo, we let it up to the states. So
it's weird. Weed is weird. Look how it's taking weed a very long time to become legal, right? Look how fast mushrooms is becoming legal. Like, it's crazy. Like, they got states already, like, saying, like, yeah, fuck it, we want mushrooms. That's a little bit more unstable than anything else. And I love shrooms. I'm not, but weed is, I don't know, it's such a, like, crazy topic still because it's, like, it's legal and everybody's been doing it.
I think that they done locked so many people up that they say, okay, it's legal now. But then people, this is like my next question. They'll be like, yo, what about all like the people in jail? So like,
what about all the people in jail?
The federal government tomorrow says, yo, we're just legalizing weed. Fuck it, right?
Oh, they got to release everybody who's locked up for weed. If tomorrow the feds wake up and go, guys, weed is legal, that means they would have to let go every non-violent cannabis conviction. Anybody who's locked up for just weed, whether you were growing, selling, transporting, just non-violent weed, brother, they gotta let you go.
Let you go. And like throw some like reimbursement for that too. Like they got to, like, because it's like ain't no way like it's dudes that's doing like life for like selling weed.
Absolutely. And
there's you got like billionaires that are in the cannabis industry.
I'll give you an example of that. My man Corvain Cooper in Los Angeles. Corvain Cooper did 9 years in the feds, right? His sentence was life with no parole. His case was 40 tons of weed. He ain't kill nobody. He ain't hurt nobody. He ain't sell no dope. He ain't do none of that.
He just sold weed.
It was a conspiracy of 40 tons of weed. And they lifed him.
He
crazy. Came home because Trump crazy ass let him go. But he had to do basically 9 years of fighting before they even let him go. You understand? It was a non-violent offense. It wasn't some shit that somebody ended up dead. He hurt someone. It was just weed.
That's wild. He probably sold to Trump.
It's crazy.
That was Trump's supply?
Shit. His crazy ass.
That was Trump's plug. He said, oh shit, now we gotta free him.
Yeah, we gotta free him. Yeah, man. So, but shout out to the 40 tons people, man. Those are the homies. Yeah.
But like, let's talk about it in general. Like Prez, if you want to talk to him about that, like the general way that people are being handled, like because a lot of them are being released. Like, how is that process happening right now? Because it must be chaos, man. Like, you know what I'm
Of
saying? Like,
course, you know how many people
everyone's
feel some
out,
sort of
like,
way.
what's
Yeah,
happening, you know?
right.
Yeah, because they kind of have to do something because you locked a lot of black and
of course,
brown people up. A lot of minorities are in jail for cannabis.
brother. We in Harlem, right?
Yeah.
In 2020, right? We're not even gonna go too far. In 2020, we talking during pandemic. 2020, more than 80% of cannabis arrests were black and brown. We're not talking 1972 or some shit. We talking about 2020, bro.
Yeah.
Like they was still locking us up.
Yeah.
They ain't going downtown to do that shit.
And they smoke downtown too.
Bro,
Soho,
and
West
from
Fourth,
what I've been
LES.
seeing in the last 5-6 years, you know, we've been, you know, again, I'm an uptown dude. I just started gaining all these friends downtown, and they've been smoking as long as I've been, and they look at me and they go, arrested for weed? I was
Never got arrested.
If anything, police jumped out on us and told us to turn it off, but they never arrested me.
Or move it down the block or
I
take
just-
it to the house. Like
I didn't spend the night for a roach. I didn't spend the night in jail. I went through the whole system for a roach.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? And this me. I know a bunch of other regular, I'm not talking people that was in the street, regular folks that had to go to jail for smoking weed. We're not even talking about selling weed or holding a bunch of weed. Niggas was smoking joints outside in the hood.
yeah, just having a good night, chilling.
Had to spend the night in jail. I've had friends that almost lost a job behind this situation. He was just smoking a joint. He got a great job. Motherfucker couldn't go to work the next day because he was in jail.
That's wild.
Bro, I got arrested. I think it was the day before it was about to be decriminalized.
That's insane.
Everybody,
That's insane.
Caught in the stalls with that. That's the whole weekend.
Central Bookings. And you know it'd be crazy.
That's crazy.
You just had like
That's
a joint,
insane.
right? You had a little roach on you, right? You in there with a dude that shot 4 dudes.
Yeah, bro.
This
They-
dude just stabbed his
Yes.
moms. You like, what the
Yes.
fuck? Like, yo, I just got weed. Like,
Yes. Yes. Yes, bro.
you in there, right? Like, you in there, like, yo, I'm about to get out Monday. Your man's to the left, like, yo, I'm about to tell her everybody. Like,
Right. Right. Like I like to put this in perspective, right? Because people get this misconception of the hood because it's the hood, right? And I'll talk like Harlem, right? Let's say we on one block, right? Let's say 125th between Broadway and Riverside, right? That block, they got the coke dealer, they got the dope dealer, they got the weed dealer, and then you got the rest of the block. The hood, the streets on that block is maybe 10 to 15% of the people that's on that block. The rest of the people that's on that block is working class.
Yeah.
Niggas is going to school, niggas going to work, niggas trying to raise their kids, niggas just trying to, and a lot of those customers are them. Those are
Yeah.
the people that just want their weed and going home. They want no problem, niggas don't want no issues. But these are the motherfuckers getting locked up as well.
yeah. Which
So-
is insane. Like,
It's
yo,
insane.
like I'm just trying
So
to
they
get by
think
in
they
life.
locking up these violent
Yeah,
and
yeah,
these hoodlums, but you not. You locking up a bunch of working class people. Like most of it, you can,
Yo,
and you
yeah.
can tell because I get locked up and I see all these dudes getting locked up.
If you was the mayor of New York, how would you handle the situation?
If I guess if I was the mayor of New York City right now,
If you was Eric Adams,
I would, first of all, I wouldn't really put I wouldn't put too much emphasis on locking people up. This it. I would leave that alone. You're wasting a lot of manpower. They're in transition, right? So they were kind of shutting some shops down. So now, yesterday, he held a press conference yesterday.
about what?
About this subject. So what he is going to start doing, which is something that no other state has done. I'm not commending him. I just love when motherfuckers try something new. Because if you keep doing everything else that hasn't worked, show me something new. Maybe that'll work, maybe not. But I think the new approach is instead of running down in these smoke shops and locking up these small business owners and motherfuckers just trying to get some money, what they're doing is they're gonna press the issue on the landlords. I like that situation better than locking up a bunch of motherfuckers that's just selling weed because this is what happens, right? So they go into your shop, they lock you up, they take all your weed, they take all your money. You come home in a day or two, you got to pay bail. You can't go back to that shop to sell weed because they fucked your shit up. They took all your merchandise, so now you took a big loss, right? Mm-hmm. And now you got to pay fines for whatever the hell you end up with, right? So you're doing that to the person that has the lease. But now the person who has the money, who's the actual landlord, they can afford to take a hit. I'm not saying they might be the most richest people in the world, but we talking about Manhattan here. If you're a landlord in Manhattan, you got money. You ain't broke.
You ain't broke. Right,
so, just saying, they left it up. They're going to press these landlords now. So if you got these blatantly illegal shops in your building, you got to press that. And if not, we go sue you, and you got to pay a fine. And you got to go with that. Not you got to deal with that. You got to pay for all the situations that's happening, not the local illegal dude trying to trap. Because he's just taking the opportunity to trap. But the landlord know what he's doing. The landlord know that he about to open up something. He want in, right?
Yeah, because he sees that you gonna have my rent.
But now that's over. So what happens is, I don't know, but what I think what would happen with that is that now landlords will have to switch it up, and landlords going to have to work with people that are licensed and not trapping. You can always trap. You don't need a shop to trap.
That's a fact.
Niggas been trapping.
Yeah.
So I don't know, hopefully, whoever's a real trapper, bro, fuck that goddamn shop. You already been trapping. You already been doing your thing. Just keep doing your thing now. You know what I mean? These new niggas that's just trying to sell weed, maybe they go get hurt because they ain't never trapped before. They been selling out the store. But
we should say as a disclaimer, if you're a new nigga trying to trap, try to get your license.
If you just trying to trap now, you might as well go get your license, bro. Wait for the opportunity because. Well, again, right now it's still a program. So what happens is once they open it up to the rest of the public, I think it's gonna be way easier, right? So right now the retail section is still under the state's program. They go release, I think it was 150 licenses for retail licenses, which is supposed to, those 150 people are supposed to be dudes from the hood, straight up. Legacy, or just in general, you were arrested, or somebody in your household was arrested for cannabis. And your father, your brother,
the city knows. The city knows. He's been here a few times. They know. They definitely know.
Mm-hmm. So I applied for that program. I'm still waiting for answers and shit like that.
How long has it been?
We applied in October. That's not too long ago. And those applications just came out around that time. So hopefully, throughout the year, they'll be letting everybody open up shop. I created Happy Munkey, but my partner Vladimir is our enforcer. He's the guy who's in the front.
It's always a Vladimir doing some enforcing. Always Vlad.
Yeah, my man Vlad, right? So he's my partner, right? So me and him, we was already trapping. We was already outside. So when I came up with the concept, I knew he had the resources already. So I was just kind of pestering him to kind of I think this is the new wave. This is the new wave. And he agreed as far as not taking a tough approach to it. So we were already this is going to be a situation where we just go show hospitality and we just go show love because we want everybody accepted. Because that was the experience that I experienced in Amsterdam. Right, so like I said, out of me and him, I'm more the introvert, right? So I was in Amsterdam, experienced a situation where I was sitting in a table, let's say just like this, and I was able to talk to people from all over the world. I spoke to people from Iraq, Italy, Morocco, all these different shit. So I thought to myself, damn, we need this shit in New York.
Facts.
Because you got all New York.
Because you got all this shit in New York. You can smoke with a dude from Iraq, Morocco.
Exactly. Yeah. So the whole concept was for people to actually just connect. There wasn't no money to it. We was already in the street. I told you know what I mean? That was already. So the whole concept, it was just we want people to kind of connect and kind of just, we want the introverts of the world, we want the oddballs of the world, but we also want the classy of the world to come here and sit down next to the street motherfucker. Like that's what we created. You know what I mean? We created an inclusive situation.
Sounds a lot like BMCC, but they really do that. Dude for the street, nerd dude.
Yeah,
Asian chick with big tits. If you just all smoking, like
all that shit, all that, bro. Like it was
kids.
It was groups from all over, right? And what happened was during those events, we found out that there was an actual legal world, right? It wasn't like a legal world where weed is legal now, but there was people actually congregating to kind of figure out what's the next step as far as legal weed. And we saw these conferences was happening, and we was like, oh shit. There's no weed smoking in here? So what kind of weed event is this? So we started doing after parties for all these conferences.
That is so smart. It's genius. Like, yo, I would have, we talking about weed, I'm going to smoke it. Like.
Right. So I'm like, yo, we here talking about this. Let's all go to my spot. So, we all kind of created a space where the minds of cannabis, no matter where you from, the minds of cannabis, you a street hustler, you're a farmer, you're a doctor, you're a blue collar, you're a consumer, whatever it is, all these minds will get together in this space and create different situations. Everybody will connect. And to this day, you see people that met at our spot doing business or in a relationship or in a friendship, like all these different situations, bro. Like we just organically wanted something like that. And it kind of took us to just do more. Yeah, it created an ecosystem, and we ran with the ecosystem, right? Because we could have just chilled and kept on throwing parties, but no, we ran. We became advocates. You know what I mean? And we started going to Albany. We started fighting. We started protesting. We made a petition against Governor Cuomo when he was governor at the time, and we made sure that the MRTA was passed, which is the regulations that we're under now. Those regulations is what put us here, is what gave us consumption, is what gave us where you could smoke weed wherever the fuck you want pretty much out here. You know what I mean? Because they wanted to have a different regulation, so we fought for that one.
Well, what was Cuomo nasty ass trying to do?
So what he was trying to do is he was trying to have a different set of regulations where it would auction off the license. Now, we talking New York City, guys. There's billionaires here. Ain't niggas with a couple million. There's billionaires here. That would have rigged the whole game.
Yeah, he was wilding. Like.
Yeah, that was going straight to the rich. That was not coming nowhere near nobody over here, right? So we pushed for that situation, and we kind of put us in a shaky situation because we going against the governor's office at the time. You know what I'm saying? But we fought for that, and we're here now. Again, like all this shit, all these parties and all this shit just kind of like took us there. Like it wasn't like I woke up one day and said I'm gonna become a weed advocate and we're gonna push merch. Governor Hochul does have a lot on her plate, right? As far as all those subjects that you just mentioned, is a bunch of subjects. She's the governor, right? But as far as weed, right? As far as cannabis, right now, we all just spoke about all the illegal shops and all this other shit, right? Right now, the situation is licensing, right? We need to start getting all these operators out and operating. Like, their program, all right, so the whole situation is that they were supposed to build a fund of $200 million for these 150 licensees, right? Mm-hmm. They haven't gotten there yet. That's okay though, because at least me and my team, we weren't under the impression where we were gonna wait for the governor and their fund to help us operate.
And I don't see no one in New York doing that. They're just gonna keep pushing it, like.
Right. But what I think that if she has the power to do so, which I think she does, is that she should let out of those 150, because not everybody got the money to operate, but if there's people in that 150 that can operate right now, that can go ahead and look for their own real estate, build their shit out, start selling weed, they got their contacts upstate because they got the farm, we got, just like us, we got all this shit. Let us operate. Because then, what are you doing? Like, you're gonna send out this task force to lock everybody up, but then you're not letting all the licensees, people who are patiently waiting and going through the actual legal process, like help that situation out, push them forward, right? Push the farmers forward. Let people grow weed. What you waiting for? This is New York City consumes more weed than everybody in the world. We smoke the most weed in the world, my G.
I can believe that. I really believe that.
Nobody consumes more weed than us.
One New York weed smoker probably smokes that's like an actual weed smoker. It's like four normal weed.
You smoke a lot of weed. Yeah.
Are we including Grava in that? That is hilarious.
Grabba.
You're the only ones who smoke Grava. It's crazy as you do, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not a grabber smoker, but all the young dudes in my block, they all smoke Bristol and Grabba and all that shit. It's all good. It's all good.
Yo, Grabba's that a substance?
Grabba's a substance. Grabba's a substance. Yeah, but it's weed, man. I'm just hoping. Again, this is all right. I'll bring it back a little bit. This is a brand new business. Even though it's an old business in the street, as far as legalization, it's brand new. Nobody got it correct. This shit is different. Nobody has like
ain't no guidelines to this shit.
Yeah, like this shit is different. So
I feel like it's coming as it goes along. So
exactly.
It's like
we can only learn from the people that did shit before us, right? So California is already involved. Don't do this. A lot of the things that California did. Don't do a lot of the things that Oregon did. Colorado, Massachusetts, all these places. So the fact that New York is trying to take this different approach, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Whether it works or not, I don't know. I'll see you in 5 years. We can talk about this shit in 5 years. But right now, we're taking the newest approach ever. So Cookies is one of the most successful brands in cannabis.
Do you like their shit personally?
I do. He got good weed. He's always had good weed. Burning them. But I don't want people to get it twisted. The same cookies the cookies that's in San Francisco ain't the same cookies that's in Maryland. This is a McDonald's deal. They did it smart. They did a McDonald's deal, let's say, right? When I say McDonald's deal, it's like a licensing deal. It's a franchise situation. So the owner in Maryland ain't the same owner in San Francisco. Plus, the San Francisco one got all the fire. You know what I'm saying? That's where all the Bay. That's where all the dope strains came from. You know what I mean? But they're winning because their model worked for them, right? That business model worked for them. His brand was very strong. He also used hip hop as a marketing tool. That was the biggest marketing tool he could ever use, because cannabis we can't market the traditional way. You can't go and pay for an ad on TV. You can't go and pay for an ad on the radio.
Nah.
You can't do that. Nah. You gotta learn. You gotta come up with a fucking clever way to market your shit. He had an awesome way to market his shit. What he also did, when I say Burner, was able to take the merch and make it a merch brand. You know what I mean? So people knew him for weed, Cookies brand, knew him for music, but then the clothes became a real big deal for him, right? He got the Zoomies deal. It became a huge success. So he added all these things to the weed, right? So, yeah, I think it was he made a lot of great advertising moves.
So he pretty much, this is genius because he's a rapper, he smokes, shit. He just pretty much put his lifestyle into it.
He put his lifestyle into it, made it a brand. He put his money where his mouth is as well, because I seen an interview where he said he put his money where his mouth is. He went and paid for a fucking brand. He paid for a merch. He went.
And he's getting advertising PR because he's making moves, not because he's doing bullshit.
Correct. Correct.
Which I think is cool.
Right.
I think a lot of rappers.
Yeah,
figure out how to brand it themselves.
Exactly. I think he branded them. I think Cookies branded themselves very well. They made sure that everybody knows their name. Look, it's illegal for Cookies to have because of their brand and the colors that they use, because of the regulations in New York. Cookies can't really open up a dispensary here, at least using Cookies and the brand and all that stuff. But what did he do? He pivoted and still opening up some sort of clothing store / Yeah, it's like a clothing store / lounge. No, you cannot get weed from there. No.
It's literally a brand, bro.
It's literally a brand.
It's just cool to have on.
It's cool to have on, and you hear it. You see it all the time. And I know a bunch of people in my cannabis world that have events there. So, yeah, at the minimum, it's a huge marketing tool. He put the shit in the middle of fucking 34th Street or some shit like that, around 34th Street, Harold Square. So the shit is like in the middle of the city.
Are you trying to kick Cookie's ass or like?
I'm not trying to kick nobody's ass. I'm just trying to get. I'm just trying to get me and my team on, right? So that's it. We just trying to get on. That's it, bro. The Cookies model. I mean, to be honest, I look up to that situation because he's the first. You know what I'm saying? He was the first to be able to come from hip hop and like have a weed brand, you know what I mean? So for us, it's like, all right, cool. Like, what do we do now, right? We started with the events. Let's go into merch. Let's go into advocate. Now the licenses is coming, so we apply for licensing. So we trying everything possible, and we always got something next, right? So I'll give you the evolvement as far as events, right? We went from speakeasy to doing compliant events. What is a compliant event? A legal event. So we don't sell weed at these events, right? We've had 3 major events last year. We don't sell weed at none of these events. We do have all weed sponsors, a bunch of weed sponsors. So what does that mean? That means there's a bunch of companies like Cookies, let's say, or like a health and wellness type of company, or whatever. Anybody that can legally give us money to have an event and to market your brand. We have an event for that, right? So one of the biggest events we had was at the Van Gogh. I say at the Van Gogh experience. The Van Gogh had a pop-up in the pier, and it was like this real immersive experience where it was 3D. It had all Van Gogh's paintings all over the walls and all that other shit.
Something that if I was high, I would
enjoy. I would love. Fucking enjoy it. The shit was crazy. So we were able to collab and have an event at their spot, and we had like a smoking section, and people came. It was crazy. It was 2 nights. Shit was sold out. It was insane. So every time the laws change, we evolve with that law, and we try to have an event.
So you evolve and adapt to it? That's dope.
We evolve and adapt. We're trying to show people. We're trying to normalize the use of weed. You know what I'm saying? That's what we did with the consumption lounge. So I feel like now we're doing it with the events that's out in the open and it's public. So we still having the big events like that. So we'll have events maybe 3 times a year, and it'll be a big event. It'll be anywhere from like 500 people to 2,000 people, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like it'll get crazy, and it's compliant. So we're teaching, not only we teaching the state, we teaching the people how to have a compliant event. You know what I mean? You don't got to worry about it. It's very safe because it's a brand new thing. People still have this misconception about weed, but weed smokers are not violent.
They're mad chill.
Mad chill. So you can have 2,000 weed smokers with not 1 drop of alcohol, and it's gonna be a great night.
Yeah, and if you can, like on the flip side, you can go to like a bar, everybody drinking, watching the game,
and somebody gonna get rowdy.
Somebody gonna fight. Somebody. The word thing. Like weed smokers, this is like chilling. Yo, what you listening to? Yeah. I like your shoe. It's just shit like that.
Exactly. We proved that for a couple years as the speakeasy, and as we did these compliant events, we proved it again. You know what I mean? So that's what we go keep doing these things. We go keep breaking the ceiling for shit like that.
So like according to like Business Insider, like 2% of the cannabis entrepreneurs are like African American. Just 2%. How can we fix that disparity?
First of all, where are they checking these stats at, my brother?
I mean,
because you can tell. Right?
I don't think a lot of black people read Business Insider, or they don't feel like they're checking for it, or the Business Insider.
Insider don't know no black people, right?
That could be it too.
Because we are here, black and brown people are here. We've getting arrested, so we definitely
are here.
You know, so they don't. I feel like they just not doing it. They not really doing the work.
The research
of
the work.
Doing the real research because it's all black and brown. Yeah, you know, white folks. I'm not saying. Listen, white folks been growing weed forever. These are the guys who got the new strains. They coming up with a lot of shit. But we the ones that been getting hurt the most. Not comparing. Not saying that there's not white folks that get hurt behind weed and they go to jail. Blah blah blah. But more of the pressure's happening to me and you, my friend, than it is to them.
That's a fact.
Right. So So
fact,
they would
yeah.
have to be, for them to get all that attention and attraction from the law enforcement, they would have to be huge. They would have to be doing all these shit and getting caught and doing all. But for us, you have a small scale situation. You getting raided. They raid your whole apartment, your mom, everybody. You go through a whole bunch of shit. So tell Business Insider, come holler at us.
So, all right. You spoke about shrooms. You spoke about edibles. Have you ever had a bad edible experience? I think we all have.
I think my bad experience was that it was probably too much and I fell asleep. You know what I mean? Like
I want that experience.
it was like, yo, it's time. My night is over.
My edible experience, I was doing college radios, me and my friend, a white dude from Newburgh. Shout out to my manager, Jordan. So he hands me this red velvet cupcake, and he says, eat it slowly. I'm a fat guy. I love cupcakes. Buy this shit. Nothing happens. Half an hour later, slaps me, and I'm like, yo, go to commercial. What the fuck did you get? So I'm bugging the whole night. So he drops me off at the bus stop. We was in Jersey. We went to a broadcasting school in Jersey. We had like college radio after we graduated. So I'm on the New Jersey Transit bucket. It's February. I'm like, yo, why am I hot? So
New Jersey Transit.
So I got the back of the New Jersey Transit bus, like the window wide open. It's like 2 degrees outside.
Oh no! You got the whole bus looking at
So
you crazy.
like, yo, is it all right? So I was like this close to being like a sick passenger. So I'm texting him like, yo, what's good? He said, yo, when you get to Port Authority, buy you like a water and some popcorn, and you're gonna like mellow out. And then after that, I just started laughing at everything. And I'm like, all right, I'm not fucking with edibles.
Yeah, edibles. I like to smoke. I'm a smoker. I'd rather smoke than anything. I don't want to. I'm not saying I wish everybody just find your way. As far as weed, I think because there's no real studies, I think the only way you learn how to consume is trial and error. So you got to kind of learn what works for you and what doesn't.
Yeah, like after that,
I
did edibles like 2 more times, and I had like one good night, and the other night was ass. So I'm like 1 and 2 versus edibles, but I don't fuck with edibles no more. Like I'm done off edibles.
Edibles have you washed up.
Yeah, that's the express train. Give me your 5 best stoner snacks.
Wow. Love that. 5 great, my 5 go-to stoner snacks. Lately, I've been into like potato chips. So I don't care what kind of potato chips right now, either crunchy or like cheesy. This has been into potato chips. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Classic. Can't go wrong with a peanut butter and jelly.
Cannot go wrong with some honey wheat bread, peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Popping. What's another one? Damn, you see? I'll hit you with a New Yorker one. Pizza. Definitely love pizza. Snacks. Sweets. I love sweets. So anything sweet like a cake or a Twinkie or a red velvet, something like soft like that.
Ice cream. Oh,
you know what I mean?
Ice cream.
I'm not into too much icing, but more like the cake.
The cake?
You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
The actual cake.
So you just see the Entenmann's cake and just go in?
It just go in. Donuts and shit. I'm going in. Yeah. Those are my snacks right now.
All right. It doesn't have to be particularly like stoner movies, but top 5 movies you watch when you're high.
Ooh. Top 5 movies. Damn, I watch a lot of movies. What would be one? I like Pineapple. I'll give you stoner. Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express. That's
love
classic.
Movies, classic funny movies. I like Tropic Thunder. I don't know if you've ever seen.
I've seen Tropic Thunder. I fucked with Tropic Thunder.
Shit is nuts. I don't know if you see Robert Downey Jr. in that movie, but
I don't know how he get canceled. I don't know how he get canceled.
That was beautiful. I loved it.
That was the funniest. Right before, right before, like
definitely.
He dropped that in 2012. That they got Robert Downey out. They got Robert Downey out of here, like OD. Movie's funny as fuck though. Like
you know, you ever seen Kung Fu Hustle?
Kung Fu Hustle, yeah.
Kung Fu Hustle's my shit. Kung Fu Hustle. The bootleg Kung Fu movie, right? It's a bootleg animated Kung Fu movie. Shit is hilarious. It's like they use some sort of animation to it, but it's hilarious. Kung Fu Hustle. If you haven't watched Kung Fu Hustle, smoke some weed and watch Kung Fu Hustle. You might like that. Action movies. Well, you know what? I'll take it. I'll bring it back some classics. I like the Godfather movies, and I'll bring that because one time, this was years ago, I was eating a lot of shrooms, and this is before like we had flat screens and shit like that. So I was eating a bunch of shrooms, and I got stuck on watching all 3 Godfather movies.
That sounds like a fun shroom experience.
The shit was in HD. It was beautiful. I saw every fucking detail. I heard every fucking line. I fucking saw everything in the background. It was insane. Like it's crazy.
That's crazy. Give me your bet. Who's the best like stoner rapper of all time?
Definitely Snoop. He's been rapping for a long time. I'm definitely I'll add Redman to that.
Okay.
Definitely add Redman.
Snoop, Redman. I was gonna say Wiz. Wiz probably my favorite.
And Wiz, yeah. Those are the three.
Have you ever been with like a woman that doesn't like to smoke weed?
I have.
Is it challenging?
I guess for me at the time it was not, right. It was like my first real girlfriend, first love type of situation. And she smoked cigarettes. So I smoked weed. And I was like, you can't tell me nothing about weed if you smoking cigarettes. So we kind of like lived the eye. Like it wasn't no issues.
There was no issues. Yeah. I've like had women that be like, I can't talk to you because you smoke weed.
Okay, and then you can just not talk to me. We could that's okay. Like I'm all the way okay with anyone not. You do not have to agree with my lifestyle.
That is a fact.
It's all good. You can just keep it moving.
Like when you first started, did your like family like disagree with it?
Absolutely. My mom disagreed with it 100%.
Because you know you Spanish.
Yeah, we Dominican. My mother was like,
does she think it's crack?
Yeah, she was like, you're a crackhead. You know, you're a tecato. That's what you say it in Spanish. You're a crackhead. But no, because see, I was kind of lucky though a little bit because I had older brothers, right? They smoked, well, at least 2 of them did, and does. So that kind of like helped a little bit. But my mom was definitely not with it. My mom actually, up until recently, now is when she kind of like, she's like okay with it. She's like, all right, well, it's legal now, and I see what you're doing. You know what I mean? I see what you're doing. You're doing some nice things. I've actually had co-workers of hers come to my parties. You know what I'm saying? So now she looking at it like, okay, well, he's trying to do something positive. He ain't in the street. He ain't trying to get locked up, and then, you know, so she's like, all right, fuck it, you know. She go with it now. So like, I got like 2 more questions. So like, what advice would you give to like anyone getting into the cannabis lifestyle, getting into like wanting to start their own brand? Like, what advice would you give them? My advice is, if you already have a skill, which let's say you came from a marketer's background, or you did security, or you did accounting, or you did any of these things before, bring that skill into the game. Don't just get stuck on, I want to put my brand on weed and put it on the bag and that's it. That's all you want to do. Don't do that. Bring your other skills into this game. It's going to be way much more valuable for you and your team for you to bring these skills. If you want to create a brand, right? Because if you go on the brand route, definitely be okay with not knowing everything. Like, you don't know everything. That's impossible. Like, you can't. You're gonna need help, and be okay with not always having to take the lead, even though it's your brand. You know what I'm saying? Like, you created it or whatever the case may be, but somebody on your team might be a better marketer. Somebody on your team might know more about weed than you do. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. Yeah, like, be all right with like learning whatever position you in, even if you're the boss, like you got to know what's your talent as a boss, right? So it's like you got to be okay with kind of like spreading and delegating and kind of like bring your skills, man. Bring everything you got to this industry, because it ain't as fun as people think. They just think it's just weed and like you just go smoke weed all day. Then don't make a brand. You don't need a brand for that.
Smoke weed and party all day.
Yeah, you don't need a brand for that, you know?
So, where can you tell the people, where can they find Happy Munkey? Where can they find you? Where can they follow you at?
Absolutely. You can find us in almost every social media that you can think of. We called Happy Munkey, HappyMunkey. Underscore on Instagram. You can find us happymunkey.com on the websites. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter. We lit. We talk about weed, lifestyle, whatever you want to talk about. You know, our culture, munchies that we like, you know, parodies that we've done. We've done all sorts of shit, man. We here.
Definitely. So like, when can I get some merch? Like the merch is up.
What's crazy is we had a whole meeting about merch today. So we're coming out with a whole new line of merch. It's gonna be a lot of interesting things that we coming out with. Yeah, we're gonna come out with the hoodie, the shirts or whatever. But I think we gonna come out with just a few different items that I think people gonna like, right? Because I think it's weed. Let's come out with something a little bit different. And I won't tell you exactly what it is, but I'll tell you it's coming soon because we're literally working on it as we speak.
All right. And that's it.
I appreciate you guys here, man. Thank you for having me.